Here we are. We are at East Falls. Now, East Falls zip code is 19129. And in East Falls, the boundaries are between Wissahickon Avenue, which is up here, Kelly Drive, down here, Lincoln Drive. Now, that's the closest main vine. And obviously, the Lincoln Highway, which is also known as Route 1, uh, which turns into the Roosevelt Boulevard all the way over here. And when you get past the Broad Street, is when it turns into, well, when you get the lights at 9th Street, is when it turns to West Roosevelt Boulevard. But along this route right here is a it's a bridge, it's an overpass from the main line of 76. And it's a bridge that runs all the way over here. Now there is a street as well, um, right here, but it also, but but it kind of stops. Uh, it stops the when you get up on Kelly Drive. It kind of stops like right over at Ridge Avenue. Then you have to get on the highway. So that's East Falls. Is This is all highway from Ridge Avenue up. And if I zoom in, a little too much. Uh, Now, about East Falls is it is located in the northwest section of Philadelphia, and it is it's it's a nice it's pretty nice for hipsters as well and younger folks because they live around here to go to the other universities in the area. Now, this university right here, Jefferson University, the East Falls campus, Thomas Jefferson. It used to be Philadelphia University um, for several years, and then they got bought out by Thomas Jefferson University, where uh, it's a part of the Jefferson Hospital Network, and that's in Center City, where where the main campus is of Thomas Jefferson. I'll just say Jefferson. What is and They were now over the past 5 years, less over the past 5 years or so. Jefferson has been on this expansion campaign, so it's already a successful healthcare network in the city, right up there with University of Penn, Penn Hospital, Temple Hospital, Hahnemann. Well, Hahnemann is closed now, but it was like right up there with those hospitals, and they decided that they wanted to expand out, so they had acquired Alera area, I believe, healthcare system, Abington, which is in Abington Hospital, which is actually in Abington, which is out in Mount Airy. No, not Mount Airy. I'm sorry. Abington Hospital is in Montgomery County. That was the first that they had acquired, and they acquired area healthcare system out in the north, like the far northeast. And then I think this one is the third acquisition was Philadelphia University. So so this used to be this campus used to be Philadelphia Hospital, but now it's Thomas Jefferson Hospital. And a lot of students, they like to live out here. You can rent out here in this area, and even in the neighboring area of Manayunk. And a lot of people commute into the city to go to the various universities that's throughout Philadelphia. Well, you're still in the city, but they commute to the various different universities. As you can see up here, the next nearest university is LaSalle. We have a lot of universities around here. Okay, so if I zoom in, going to give a closer look. We're going to get a closer look uh, at East Falls. We have now East Falls does have some new construction, and that new construction can be found right here around this area. It can be kind of found within this area right here of Ridge Avenue, uh, and or even around here. I'm sorry, I'm just really trying to pinpoint, but it's somewhere in this area is the new construction. There is several places where there is other newer construction around in the area, and because this is a hot spot for new construction. Um, and it's also um, and it's also a nice affordable place as well, as regards to homes. Now, before I get to the affordability, there is now I'm going to zoom in on Kelly Drive, where Kelly Drive is. And if you see my last video of in my video of the Sacred Pond in West Philly, this bridge, this is neighboring West Philly. The only thing that separates between Northwest and West Philly is literally these bridges and this bridge over here. So there's the East Falls Bridge, which is a small bridge. It's a two-way bridge, and it's very small because during the week, people that travel that like to take Martin Luther King Drive as opposed to 76 as an alternate route, or even Route One, they take Martin Luther King Drive or to cross over into Kelly Drive if they need to get over into the if they need to get into West Philly. Kelly Drive, Kelly Drive and Martin Luther King Drive do run along the Schuylkill River, and they run um, up until they run all this way up here to the art museum. So, and as you can see along Kelly Drive, it's and Martin Luther King Drive. It's a pretty winding road. It's very windy. There is a lot of There are car accidents that happen because not everybody anticipates the turns. So can and some people tend to go too fast on Kelly Drive and Martin Luther King Drive. And of course, the Schuylkill River is a pretty dangerous river. Um, and what I mean by dangerous is that you don't want to. It's the current is very strong, um, and there aren't necessarily any guardrails around the banks. So, but no, but anyway, but of course, it's all about safety. You just have to be very safe when you and drive safely or ride your bike very safely around these corners. But it's really when you're operating a motor vehicle is to be careful around those sharp turns. And but anyway, Kelly Drive is known for a lot of people like to go in, as well as Martin Luther King Drive. They like to sit along these banks, and they either fish, um, sit and relax. They ride their bikes because there is a sidewalk. There are trails. Um, and there's also places where there is a place where there's Boathouse Row and several statues where people and also people just like to see what's on Kelly Drive because it's like they admire the Schuylkill River, and you can see the traffic. You can see 76 from Kelly Drive, and you can see traffic, and even sometimes you can get and most times on Kelly Drive and Martin Luther King Drive, you can actually get to Center City, which pretty much starts at the art museum a lot faster than it is to go on 76 because 76 and morning and evening rush hour can be a bummer, uh, to say the least. So, um, So that's Kelly Drive. And to speak also along about, to talk about as well, another winding road is Lincoln Drive. Lincoln Drive is a long road that is 2 lanes. Both Kelly Drive and Lincoln Drive are 2 lanes. And a lot, and the thing about Lincoln Drive and Kelly Drive is they're similar because they are winding roads. They're very windy. And there is a section. Now the thing about it is that a lot of people, when they drive, when they don't anticipate this turn right here, this turn can be extremely dangerous. Um because some, when you're coming off the highway, if you're coming off of City Line Avenue or 76, and you travel and you're running and you're, kind of going into on Lincoln Drive, you're rolling along, there is this turn that kind of does the, you're driving along and then all of a sudden it's like this, people get in accidents right there. This is a pretty well known corner to get an accident in. If somebody, and thing about it is that if somebody gets in an accident here, there's nowhere to go. It backs up. And there is Gypsy Lane, which is the only exit and somewhat uh, only exit off of Lincoln Drive for about for about 2 miles, 2 or 3 miles. So, but if you live here, but nevertheless, um, Lincoln Drive is a quick way to get in and out of Mount Airy into the main onto Kelly Drive. But of course, there are some people that do tend to underestimate that turn and make that turn and not able to make that turn. And thus they get into a car accident. Now, there is several places over here in the Falls, in East Falls. Um, have the gas station right here, the BP. There's also the there's also a Sunoco as well, which I believe is around here somewhere as well. It shows it's right here, but it's not necessarily there. But the in Riviera, actually, yes, I'm sorry, that is correct. There is a gas station here. So there's 2 gas stations on the main street of Ridge Avenue, and in Riviera is is a pizza restaurant, and you and they're known for, people like the bikes, so they'll park their bikes and sit out on the patio and eat. There's several eateries around East Falls. You have the Trolley Car Cafe, which is nice, and there's also, now this is not necessarily, this is on the other side of East Falls, like outside of the boundaries, but this area here is also nice. It's a little bit of an industrial area, but it's also this area right here. But they also have put up the rock gyms in East Falls, Cross Fitness, and there's also some shops and also some newer construction over here as well. Um, and these are pretty denser areas. There is the train that runs through the regional rail, and that takes you again into Center City. Uh, and these areas tend to be extreme. These areas are small streets. Uh, a lot of the houses are packed together. They don't really have. They do not really have any. And that's the thing. A lot of those houses, they don't have, they are on a slope because East Falls is a hill. So if you're traveling down and you turn up this, and I'll speak especially about this road, Calma, Calumet Street. That road, that's going up. Even though it's a one-way street, you're going up a hill. It's pretty hilly. It's not as hilly as Manioc, but it is. There are hills. Um, in East Falls. But this is and you're going up the hill, um, and then there is a plateau of the hill, which is around here. And then there's the library as well. But Crescent Street, it runs. It's a really small street, but it runs along the train. But a lot of people like the area because they like to be in East Falls. Uh, so when you're kind of up around here is where it plateaus at, and you're on flat ground, but and that's kind of towards Henry Avenue, Conrad Street. It's still somewhat hilly around Conrad Street, but it's not as a steep hill. Um, but some of the houses, especially around here, you don't get a backyard, you don't get a front yard. It's just straight up and down. That's it. You step out. You basically, when you step out of your house, you're on the sidewalk. That's how that's how a lot of those homes are when you're in this area, in this section. But when you're kind of around this section and up, well, Conrad and up around here on up is basically more flexible. There you're in it's not as steep of a hill, but there's a little bit of a hill, but you are on flat ground where you can where you would see a backyard, possibly a backyard, and some alleyway, because there are also alleyways or rows, twins. um, but a lot of people like East Falls because it also has a suburban feel as well. There is also the Drexel University College of Medicine along Fox Street, and then West Queens Lane. There is another train that's the Queens Lane that's actually on the other side. You're going on Germantown, into Germantown. That's where the nearest train station is right there. Um, Grocery stores. That's a florist. Uh, Grocery stores in the area. There are grocery stores. You just have to go out further out. This is Main Street Manayunk. Um, but if you want to go to a grocery store, there is the closest that I know is Target, and that's really literally right over City Line Avenue, and there's Target right here. That's actually in Winfield Heights, and that's in West Philly. Uh, so that's that. And then also there is a ShopRite right here in Allegheny West. That's on the other side. You can go through it by driving down Fox Street, and then that's where the grocery store is, and that's the nearest grocery store. So that's that. So there is a lot. The main street is really along Ridge Avenue. Is the main street. Uh, Now going to houses is um, there is you have homes that have 261 8 261,850 median sold. That's the median sale price of the homes. Twins and rows. You could spend anywhere between 200,000 to possibly up to 300,000. They're extremely affordable, actually a little bit higher, but around 200,000 to 300,000 or plus. The median average price is 250 for a twin or a row in East Falls. Singles range between 400,000 to 815,000, and that's because of course they're singles and they cost a little bit more to maintain, and you get a little bit more bang for your buck with a single and the median price is 720,000 for a single home in East Falls. And like I mentioned, there's some new construction in the area. Uh, if you're into that, but here we are with this. Now, okay, so for East Falls, now since I talked about a pond earlier, this is not a pond. This is the Queen Lane Reservoir, and that is basically Pico and you know and the Philadelphia Waterworks Reservoir. So this is the water department right here. um, and then there is the Preston at Fall Center. That's a complex. There is the Charlie Carr Tennis Club, and obviously they play tennis in there. You have the VA up here. Um, you have the gas station right here. You also have there's also a Dunkin' Donuts right here as well. No, that's a BP. That's a BP. That's there. Is there a Dunkin' Donuts right there? I'm not. I can't even remember. But there's something there. You can get your coffee. I believe there is a Dunkin' Donuts there. Um, so it's showing a lot of different. Over here shows a lot of different apartment complexes in the area. There is the William Penn Charter School. It's a private school. Uh, and here are a little bit closer on the homes, as you can see, the denser area. That, obviously down here is pretty dense, mostly not twins. These are mostly row homes, and of course over here is a little bit more spread out. So a little bit, but these are probably some singles and twins over here, and then over here is definitely possibly some twins as well, and single homes. So that is basically East Falls.